The way that the woke have managed to dominate entertainment and social media is not through debate, because they're really bad at debating, and the entire ideology is not built on logic anyway. As Matt Walsh demonstrated, none of them is capable of answering the simple question of what is a woman. So debating is definitely off the table. Instead, they managed to dominate the culture through fear tactics and intimidation. In other words, if you do not say the correct things, if you do not virtue signal enough, you may never get a promotion. You may never get a job. You may be fired. You may have your social media account banned. So how do they manage to intimidate people? Well, one of the many tactics that they use is called power mapping. Before they resort to power mapping, they will initially try to shame the person, to get them to be quiet by labeling them sexist, racist, homophobic, transphobic, like any of these things. And if that doesn't work, they will use the tactic that I've been talking about earlier, power mapping. So power mapping means finding out which individuals have influence over a person. And this is a very effective tactic. It's why you see constantly many companies and athletes and famous people apologizing and, as the internet likes to say, cocking to the left. A perfect example was this year, a baseball team. I think it was the Denvers. I may be wrong. I'm not an American. I don't know the names. But what I do know is that it involved the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. So this particular team had a lot of Catholic fans. And the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence are a far-left, radical activist group, pro-LGBT. And they constantly mock and ridicule Catholics. I mean, on Easter, which is the most holy day in the Christian calendar, they decided to have a person that was stripping and was dancing in a very lewd manner next to a cross. So mocking and ridiculing Catholic, being this offensive towards the main supporters of a sports team, justifies that sports team would not invite these individuals during their playoffs. However, initially the team said, yeah, like, I think you guys are a little bit too edgy for us. You're too offensive. You're not inclusive enough. But we noticed that within a couple of days, the team is cocking. And they're like, well, actually, you know what? You guys are the best. We actually think that what you do by doing these offensive dances and by mocking Catholics, you are furthering the progress of humankind, and you are pushing America towards the golden age. So we decided to re-invite you to the event. Now, many people were wondering, it's like, why is this happening? Why did they cock? Why did they change their decision to 180 degrees? And the answer is because of power mapping. So power mapping is seeing which type of people or institutions have power over your target. And that can be your boss, your community, your church, your friends, your family. Like, nothing is off limits. In the case of a sports team, it's the advertisers, it's the people that are owning the club, right? The shareholders. All you gotta do is to put pressure on them rather than the team, because putting pressure on the team doesn't work, as they have their duty towards their fans, and it is a lot more of a direct connection. But putting pressure on the advertisers, that's a lot more simpler. So even if the team has loads of fans and manages to fill entire stadiums, if you don't have advertisers, you can't make money, you can't pay the bills. So this is how effective power mapping is. And one of the organizations that have been doing this constantly to right-wingers is Media Matters. So Media Matters have tried doing this to Tucker Carlson. I do believe they may have tried it against Steven Crowder and Joe Rogan. I may be wrong with these last two cases, but I am definitely sure that they have tried their best to take down Tucker Carlson, and they even had at one point a list of sponsors that they have managed to persuade not to advertise during Tucker Carlson. And again, like, Tucker Carlson did nothing wrong, right? Like, Tucker Carlson is not a criminal. Tucker Carlson is not saying anything that is not mainstream. He is not a fringe, radical, dangerous person. He's just like a talking head on the right. The left has its own talking heads, but they're not confident enough in them. They do not believe that they have the power to persuade people. So they have to take down the talking heads that are influential on the right and play whack-a-mole with them. And Media Matters was one of the weapons used against people like Tucker Carlson. Apparently now they have decided to go against Twitter, right? Because Tucker Carlson isn't on Fox News anymore, so they have decided to go against Twitter. So, due to this, Elon Musk has decided not only to sue them, but to also sue the donors, to also sue everyone involved in these people making money. So their board, their network, everything. Now, I genuinely do not know whether or not Elon Musk is going to win. I do know that there are laws in the United States against tortious interference. I do not know if this actually qualifies. But what I am certain is that it will benefit the public to actually know who pays these individuals. Where is the money coming from? Who is rich enough to support an organization as Media Matters? Who are the members on their board? And while it's easy to find out even now, because I'm pretty sure that all of this is public information, when it goes into the news and when the normies find out about it, it's going to get interesting. So apparently, as you can see, Twitter wants to protect public's rights to free speech. But speech to be truly free, we must also have the freedom to see and hear what many people have to say. Despite our clear, constant position, Twitter had a number of attacks from activist groups like Media Matters and legacy media outlets seek to undermine the freedom of expression. And these groups are using their influence to attack our revenue streams by deceiving advertisers on the platform. So this is what Media Matters is doing. To manipulate the public and advertisers, Media Matters created an alternative account and curated the posts and advertising appearing on the account's timeline to misinform advertisers about the placement of their posts. These contrived experiences could be applied to any platform. Once they curated their feed, they repeatedly refreshed their timeline to find a rare instance of ads serving next to the counter they chose to follow. Our logs indicate that they forced a scenario resulting 13 times the number of ads served compared to the median ads served on Twitter. Out of the 5.5 billion ad impression on X that day, less than 50 total ad impressions were served against all for the organic content featured in the media article. So basically they did what Wall Street Journal did back on the day on YouTube, and they triggered the first apocalypse. They managed to find like this esoteric video that allegedly was promoting the KKK, and it had a Coca-Cola ad on it. And no one knows how exactly they managed to do it, because at the time YouTube wasn't allowing ads to be displayed on that type of content. Like even before the Wall Street Journal came along, YouTube did have some policies regarding the placement of ads. But they managed to find this, right? Like they managed to find like this random video. I remember it had like very few views, and yet it had the Coca-Cola ad on it, and that's what was placed in the article, and it caused the apocalypse. So Media Matters is trying to do something similar by creating an account and manipulating and tinkering it, refreshing the page several times until they got their desired result, and then try to say that this is normal. Like this happens all the time on the platform. So they highlight 9 posts that they believe should not be allowed on Twitter, and upon evaluation, only one of those 9 organic posts featured in the article violated our content policies. And we've taken action on it under our free speech, not reach enforcement approach. So this is what Twitter stands for. Twitter will protect the public's right to free expression. We will not allow agenda-driven activists or even our own profits to deter our vision. Everyone has a choice on X, and data wins over allegations. Right, so it's going to be really interesting to see where the lawsuit is going. Again, even if Twitter wins, I don't think Media Matters will stop. I mean, if you look at the Southern Poverty Law Center or the ADL, they have lost lawsuits in the past, and they had to pay for defamation. But they still go, right? Like, they still manage to keep going. The important thing that will come from this is the discovery process. It's going to be really interesting to see who's funding Media Matters, who are on their board, and what are their interests. Because it is a far left organization. I have never seen them go after people on the left. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe they have, and I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.